And we are live on the 87th edition of the Redman Group. I'm your host and moderator, Donovan Sharp. We are brought to you by Tactical Soap, which will increase the size of your cock by up to 8 feet with regular use. Tactical Soap is not responsible for the destruction of your woman's lady parts, front or back, her esophagus, or otherwise. Tactical Soap, please use responsibly. We are opening up the phone lines right now. If you guys want to call into the show, we might not get to you right away because we still have to do our introductions. We have to familiarize everybody with everything. But if you want to call into the show, it is 914-205-5356. Again, that's 914-205-5356. If you're calling from outside of the U.S., it is 001-914-205-5356. Before we get started, let's go ahead and introduce today's panel. First up, Steve the Dean Williams, who runs the website, themanmindset.com. Be sure to check out his weekly show right here on the Redman Group channel called The Red Pill Mindset. That is every Monday evening at 7 Eastern. Also on the panel today is none other than CEO and founder of 21 Studios and the 21 Convention, Anthony Dream Johnson. His websites are 21studios.com and 21convention, the21convention.org. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, which is the Redman Group, as well as his channel, 21 Studios, for exclusive content, videos, and, of course, to sign up for 21 University. I, of course, am your host and moderator, Donovan Sharp. You guys can check me out at donovansharp.com and patreon.com/Donovan Sharp. I am on the air Tuesday afternoons at noon Eastern right here on YouTube. I'm getting a little bit of feedback from one of you guys, so I don't know if you it's probably a sound switch thing. But we've got Cobra Tate coming on a little while. He's out in Dubai. He's having a little bit of an issue with his internet, but as soon as he comes on, we'll put him on right away. I'll introduce him to you guys. Anthony, Steve, how you guys doing this morning?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. What's
up? Good stuff. Good stuff. Of course, Steve is dominating us with his superior mic. Steve always sounds the best on these shows. I gotta get a mic like his. Anyway, so what we're going to talk about today, guys, is rewards and reprimands. And I'm actually going to start this off by telling you guys sort of a short story about how I came to this particular conclusion. And stay with me here because I think this is really going to help to put things in perspective. Now, I've had a lot of sales jobs in my life. I've sold everything from vacations to cell phones, foreclosure listings, furniture, magazine ads, cruises, and so forth. You name it, I've sold it. Well, much like lifelong salesmen, I've had a few stints selling cars. I've worked for a few high-end car lots with where the majority of the inventory is, of course, brand new cars. And most customers, most of those customers have the credit to buy them. I've sold Audis. I actually sold Audis when I was 19 years old. For one summer, when I was in college, I was 19 years old. I sold a Dodge Viper and I made an $8,000 commission. Cobra, I can see you in the stream. Can you hear us? Cobra, you there?
He's trying his mobile right now, his cell phone or something like that. So we'll see what he does. I'll talk to him on WhatsApp.
Okay, cool. Very good. Now, I have also sold used cars on a couple of occasions, okay? Now, selling used cars, and I know you guys are like, where are you going with this? Stay with me here because I promise you guys I'm going to tie this all together. Selling used cars, guys, it is an entirely different game. There are different concerns. Customers who go to high-end car lots are worried about paying too much. Those are their concerns. Customers who come to a used car lot, they're worried about the car breaking down a mile down the road, right? High-end car lot customers aren't worried about the reliability of the cars. It's brand new. It's not going to give you any trouble. They're concerned with the interest rate. They're concerned with getting price gouged. Used car customers are worried about the car breaking down and credit. If people had good credit, they would go to high-end car lots if they didn't have the cash to buy the car outright. But if they don't have enough to get the title, right, and they have bad credit, they go to a used car lot where the credit standards are a little bit more relaxed. Now, sometimes you have car lots that finance you regardless of credit because they put a GPS on your vehicle and then jack up the interest rate. These are your buy here, pay here lots. Anyway, something that happened to me.
Wait a second. Did they literally put a GPS in the car?
They literally put GPSs on the car.
Jesus.
Yes. That way, when and if you, and these are for high risk customers. These are for customers who have very bad credit. They're like, oh, we'll finance anyone. Okay, that might all be, that's all well and good. But the reason why they can take that risk is because if you default on your payment, they always know where the car is. They can come and get it anytime. It's unbelievable. It's actually a pretty good business model. Anyway, something that happened to me twice when I sold used cars is I would have a customer come in And they would tell me that I have bad credit. So, of course, I'm giving them all the lines. Don't worry, we got you covered. We're going to find a bank to finance you. We're going to put you in a car today if it's the last thing I do, right? So they're all excited because they're going to get a new car, right? So I'd run their credit. And again, this happened to me twice before I caught on. But I'd run their credit, and their FICO score would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 650, which isn't the best credit score, but it's not terrible. More importantly, it's the kind of score that would allow a customer to go to a high-end car lot and finance a brand new car. So I tell the customer, hey, your credit's actually pretty good, right? You're going to be able to finance any car you want on the lot. Now, the first car customer I told this, that they had better credit than they thought, they were ecstatic. They got excited. They started looking at cars and everything else, but I didn't make the sale that day, and I had no idea why. I thought to myself, well, the guy had decent credit. He didn't think he could get approved for financing, so why didn't he buy a car? The second time this happened to me was the same thing. Oh, I have bad credit, but I need a car. Run the guy's credit score. Once again, he's in the mid 600s. Again, the kind of score that could get a customer financed at a high-end car lot for a brand new car. So again, I tell the guy, hey, good news. You've got pretty good credit. But this time, you're not going to believe this. This time, the guy's wife said this to him right in front of me. She says, well, why don't we just go down the road to Toyota then? Now, I was a little bit quicker on my feet this time. I said, well, because they're going to charge you a higher interest rate, which means a higher car payment. But I could see in the guy's face that he was full of shit, right? Like he nodded and was like, yeah, I don't want a high car payment. I saw that he was full of shit, and I was right. They told me they needed to go home and think about it, and I never saw them again. What those two experiences taught me was that if a person thought they had bad credit, let them continue to think that even if they don't. Now, you can't get away with that these days, obviously, because people can get their credit scores on their phones in 15 seconds or less. But back then, it wasn't like that. Customers had to take the word of the car salesman that they were either approved or they weren't. But from then on, if a customer came in and told me that they had bad credit, I would continue to make them think they did, even if I found out their credit score was maybe like a 680. The minute a customer knows that they have more car buying options, they will never buy from you if you sell used cars. They couldn't give less of a shit if their interest rate is 6 points higher at a car lot, guys, at a high-end car lot. They're getting a brand new car when less than 24 hours ago, they weren't sure they could buy a used junk bucket. Women are the same as car customers, gentlemen. A woman's value is dictated solely by the way men respond and treat them. If most men a woman interacts with treat her favorably, meaning they give her compliments, they're nice to her, they do favors for her, they look at her, they give her attention, and make it clear through their actions that they would commit to her, then she's got options or good credit, right? If you guys are staying with me. Well, the less credit or value any given woman has in the way of looks, personality, and overall femininity, the more she'll have to compromise when it comes to men. Hot girls get to fuck, they get to date, they get to marry the best guys out there. They get to be with the best looking, the richest, the most talented, the most high value men out there. Not so attractive women, they get the leftovers or the used cars of the dating world. And guess what, guys? They're generally okay with it because they know they don't have as much value to men as other high value girls. Now, they'll bitch and moan about it on social media. They'll talk shit about how men are shallow and only care about looks and about how men should compromise their standards in order to appease fat, ugly women of the world. But they know the score. They know how the world works. Anyway, to bring it back around here, guys, a huge mistake that most men are making with their women is the same mistake I was making with the customers who had better credit than they thought. The same mistake that thirsty dudes make when gassing up these fat, ugly bitches. And that is showering their women with attention and compliments and approval, telling her she's beautiful all the time, telling her how much he loves her every day, constantly telling her how smart she is, how great she is. And the same thing that happened to me at that used car lot, guys, is the same thing that's going to happen to you guys in your relationships. And here's how. At some point, gentlemen, if a girl hears all of these glowing remarks about herself long enough, eventually she's going to subconsciously think to herself, you know what? I can do better. If I can impress Steve this much, then I can easily get with Kevin, the hot sales guy at work. I mean, I always knew I was a catch, but maybe I've been selling myself short and settling for less than I deserve. I think I'm going to go explore my options and see what else is out there for me. And I'm going to start with that hottie Kevin in sales. I might even swing by Dave's band practice tomorrow night and see if he's interested. This is what happens when you blow sunshine up your woman's ass too much, guys. She believes all of your hyperbolic narrative about herself. She hears and sees it so much that she internalizes it, and ultimately she believes this. And let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you guys, Steve and Anthony, you ever seen a 5 who acts like a 10 and think to yourself, why does this girl act like she's hot?
Yeah, especially as I've gotten older and seen the marketplace change. You see, maybe not fat girls, maybe, more so like single moms. Like they don't have fempowerment, feminism, and all this shit, Instagram and social media, them getting, dick pics and all their DMs flooded and shit, right?
Right.
It overinflates their ego to the point of absurdity. And
Right.
really, they're like, they used to be like a 7.5 or something years ago. Now they have a kid and shit and all these other issues in their life, right? They put on a little bit of weight and all that.
Mhm.
But they're like a 5 now, really, in the SMV. And they have, or in terms of the sexual marketplace, and they're oblivious to it. Or maybe at least superficially, they're oblivious to it. And on a deeper level, they're not, but they just can't accept that. They can't, because women have trouble, obviously, with responsibility, accepting responsibility in specific. And to do that would mean, in this case, accepting that their position in the market has substantially changed by having a child out of wedlock, getting knocked up by Chad or Kevin in sales or whatever the fuck. And this is one of the main ways I see it, that yeah, single motherhood and anything related to that where they really fucked up their life somehow.
Steve, you ever seen a hot girl, a 5 who ever seen a 5 who acts like a 10?
Steve, you're muted.
Okay, yeah, all the time. The problem is that it's not them. It's the fact that the guys out there who have no sense of self are gaslighting these women up to make them think that they're more than what they are. So they come in, when they get around real men who knock them back down to earth, they are being they're being gaslit and lighted by so many guys that they think that they are greater than what they are until they meet a real man.
Well, the answer to this question is like we always ask this: why does she act like she's hot? Right? She's got hair on her second chin and a lazy eye. Who the fuck does she think she is? Well, here's the answer, guys. That girl has a boyfriend who showers her with love and attention and validation and compliments 24/7, like all of the Facebook memes tell him to do in order to keep her happy and have a great relationship. But just like Steve said, he's doing literally the opposite. He's filling her head up so full of shit that she really does think she's hot shit who can have any guy she wants. And at some point, it's not going to be long before she steps out on him. Now, let's be clear here, guys. Let's be clear. Nobody's suggesting that you never compliment your woman. They need validation. They need approval. They need to know when they're doing it right. And if you withhold your praise from your woman when she clearly deserves it, she's only going to tolerate that for so long, especially pretty girls. A girl needs to know, guys, that her man is pleased with her when and if she deserves it. And guess what, guys? You are the judge of that, not her. She wants your approval, not her own. Look, and again, she can talk all the shit she wants about what a great catch she is and have 150 thirsty dudes agree with her on social media, but all of that means dick to her. What she wants and needs is your approval, validation from you. But by the same token, guys, you have to be fair. Don't be unreasonable. If she looks good, tell her she looks good. If you're appreciative of what she does for you, let her know. But giving her residual approval for something she does only one time, that's counterproductive, guys. Telling a woman she's hot every day because she dressed up 3 months ago, that's not helping either of you. Telling her she's an unbelievable cook because she made you a 4-course meal a year ago, that's going to make her lazy. She'll stop trying because you're giving her validation without her earning it. You're giving her attention she doesn't deserve, and at some point, human nature is going to kick in, and she's going to put in less and less effort for something she knows she can get for free, which is why you don't make it, which is why she doesn't make an effort to look good for you anymore and laughs at you when you ask her, what are you cooking for dinner? If your woman has a disrespectful tone with you, look her in the eye and say, watch your fucking tone, right? If your woman makes you a kick-ass dinner, say, God damn, you rock the steak tonight, then smack her ass. You must reward the good and reprimand the bad at all times, which is what we are discussing today. But most importantly, do not shower her with compliments for mediocre effort. If she does something she's supposed to be doing anyway, every once in a while, show a little appreciation, but don't make a big fucking production out of it. You don't need your woman expecting you to be sing her praises, for remembering to stop and grab you some bottled water. Every once in a while, just say thanks, appreciate it, and leave it at that. Gentlemen, do not tell your woman that she has awesome credit if she's giving 570 FICO score effort. If she's acting right, let her know. If she gets out of line, put her ass back in line. Don't tell her she's the greatest woman who's ever graced the face of the earth all day, every day, because at some point she will go to that Toyota dealership. Anthony, what are your thoughts on rewards and reprimands? Because you're not in a relationship, but eventually you would like to be in one. So in your opinion, what are your thoughts on rewards and rewards and reprimands, when to dole them out, when to hold back, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, a couple things. First, I wish Tate was in here. He's having issues in Dubai with his connection. I'm still talking to him on WhatsApp. He has a lot of good things to say about this. And when I first talked to him in person in Poland with the interview, we talked a little bit about this in the interview. Another issue that came to mind with the whole show topic itself, we were talking about it last night, and then with the image and the show title and stuff.
Mhm.
I think in even doing this show, we've made, and there's reasons we do that, but we've made some assumptions that, well, let me say this. If a guy is tuning into this show today new, or only recently, he's only watched like a few episodes of the Redman Group or something like that, or any of our individual content, Man Mindset, Your Sharp Reality, and all that, we're assuming and we're attacking this issue or looking at it from an issue or a position where it's normal to discuss this. Rewards, punishments, reprimands, good behavior, bad behavior. This is so far outside what normies view about male-female relationships. And I think it's easy to forget that in the manosphere, particularly in the red pill space like this. So I think it's actually good we're doing it, first of all. But second, we need to keep in mind that there's probably a lot of new viewers where it's like, how dare you? The very idea is it's audacious, right? To even have the very idea to do this. And whether that's spanking a girl, rewarding her in some way with a compliment, whether it's a long-term relationship. And that brings me to my next point too. So I'm not in a relationship now. I haven't been in a long time. And who knows when the fuck I'll be in another one. I'm 31, so I'm at a point where I'm kind of like taking it very slow with that.
Sure.
Approaching my, where I get later in life, things keep getting better and better for me in the marketplace. But these same issues that you and Steve are more familiar with in long-term relationships, they also play out on a micro scale in short-term relationships, whether that's literally a same night lay where I'm picking a girl up at a bar, or it's a short-term fling, kind of fuck buddy setup for a few weeks or a few months where I fuck this girl. I had a girl come back into my life. I hadn't fucked in like 2 years, just totally ghosted. I hadn't heard from her in years, but the sex was great a couple years ago. She swooped back into my life, and immediately there was this kind of push-pull dynamic. Like, obviously, she wanted the dick. She came out of nowhere. I'm like, all right, number one, she wants dick. She wants attention. She wants validation for whatever fucking reasons going on in her life. And I was able to set that back up real quick and fuck the shit out of her, and it was great. But like you're saying, had I thrown too much stuff at her, had I remembered the sex, had I romanticized what happened too much, I could have like interrupted that process. Whereas in this case, I didn't, and it was fucking dope again seeing her for a while.
Right.
Now she's moved away again, so it's whatever. But yeah, these issues play out no matter what, whether it's like a night or a week or a year or decades in Steve's case. The issues, women are women, day 1 and day 100 and day 1000. And I think both of your relationships are quite a bit longer. I mean, Donovan's, yours is, I don't know how many years yours is, but
going on, I met her back in 16.
Okay.
To a relationship at the end of 17, trained her for a year and a half, and so I guess we're going on 2 years. So yeah.
Nice. The training. Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
So those are some of my thoughts on that. That, if the guy's new, like the way we're talking about it, rewards and reprimands. I mean, a lot of this reminds me too what Texas Dom talks about, Dom sub stuff.
Yes.
A lot of that's reward, your training, like you're talking about, reward based and things like that for good behavior, bad behavior. And our grandparents probably had relationships or these kind of issues were a lot more normal to them. Whereas your average normie or a beta soy boy would view this with absolute contempt. How dare you reward and punish a woman for behavior or something like that? Right. On the flip side, too, of course, women do this to men all the time. And in real life and on social media in the West now, and it's retarded. And it's the opposite of what women want. Women don't want to be in a position where they can do this. They don't want that level of control. They want to be in a relationship where they're the ones under your wing, so to speak, or under your control, if it's really that deep with it.
Good. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Well, first off, what a lot of people don't understand is a job itself rewards and reprimands. In that way, a job always rewards you with a raise when you do what's right, and when you're not doing what's right, you'll get written up or fired. So I don't care if you're in a relationship, you're dating, or whatever you have. In my world, I don't believe there's no such thing as problems to me, because I'm a solution-based man. A problem to me is a meteor the size of Jupiter heading towards Earth. That's a problem. But a woman not knowing her place, that's an easy fix when you are grounded with yourself. Like Anthony was saying, this doesn't deal with just married men. This deals with all men. A lot of men are not grounded. That's why women feel that they can get away. The key word is feel like they can get away with it with a non-grounded man, because he won't stand on his principles, his laws, his rules, his codes, and his narratives. So when you are a solution-based man, this is how it's going to be. But like you said, Donovan, even if she follows what I'm saying to the T, there's nothing wrong with giving her some rewards for good behavior.
Of course.
Nothing wrong at all with telling her, you know what, baby, I appreciate that. Thank you. You know what? Good look, sweetie. All right, that, smack on her ass. Type. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. But at any time, she should know that if she thinks about getting out of line, there's going to be problems and issues and reprimands to go with that. That means that just because you did good 5 minutes ago doesn't give you the right to talk crazy to me, disrespect me, or test my patience. Because as soon as you do that, I'm going to yank that chain, and like a job, we're going to sit and talk, and I'm going to let you know, based on what you do, that if this continues, you're gone. Because I don't need you as much as you need me, because at the end of the day, I can find 1 million women like you. You're
right.
special, but you'll never find a man like me. Yeah, I mean.
I like how we've had the analogies now of used cars for the S&P and job interviews and job training or job reprimands and shit. This is great. This is accurate though. Like you guys you're both in the nail on the head with how you're comparing these things. My opinion.
Well, and again, Steve uses the job thing all the time. Guys are like, "Oh, my woman gets out of line and I don't know how to get her back in line." Okay, well, does she get out of line at work? No, really? Why is that? Because she'll be fucking fired. That's why. That's the mentality you have to have. If a woman knew that she could, and there are people who have jobs, men and women, who misbehave all the time, but their job lets them get away with it. They don't fire them. They don't give them reprimands. So they're terrible on the job. They're just bad employees. Then when out of nowhere, their job fires them, they're like, "Oh my God, what did I do wrong? You never told me these things." Happens all the time. So now that we've laid our foundation, let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes. How and when to reward and reprimand your woman. Now, the first thing you guys need to understand is that A, correcting bad behavior is not easy, and B, rewarding your woman is very easy to overdo. You need to keep these things in mind dealing with your woman in terms of getting the best out of her, which begins and ends with reducing her bad behavior while increasing her good behavior, which requires rewarding the good and punishing the bad. The second thing you guys need to keep in mind, and guys, this is probably the most important thing you will ever hear when it comes to dealing with women, and I'm not exaggerating here because knowing and abiding by this rule will literally be the difference between your successes and your failures with women. And that is that you need to correct bad behavior no less than 100% of the time, while you only need to reward good behavior somewhere in the 50 to 60% range, give or take. I'm going to say it again. You need to correct bad behavior 100% of the time while rewarding good behavior around 50 to 60% of the time. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, Donovan, so what's the difference between correcting bad behavior and punishing, or correcting bad behavior and punishing bad behavior? And this is a very good question with a very simple answer, inspired by none other than Steve the Dean Williams himself. Okay. Correcting bad behavior is, how can I put this? This is voicing. This is with your voice. And punishing bad behavior is demonstrative. Correction is verbal, punishment is nonverbal. And I'm going to give you a quick example. And I want to get your take on this, Anthony, because I'm sure you probably had this before. So you're out on a date with a girl and she's on her phone, which is bad behavior. This is disrespectful. Correcting this behavior would say, put that away for me, would you? Punishing bad behavior would be just to leave the date. This isn't to say that you can't punish bad behavior verbally or that you can't correct bad behavior demonstratively. You certainly can, and sometimes it is necessary to correct and punish in the same instance. But by and large, correction is explaining with your voice. Punishment is demonstrative, and we'll touch on this briefly a little bit later. In either case, this is not easy, guys. Okay? It's not easy to punish your woman when she fucks up. It's not easy to withdraw your attention from your woman, especially when she's hot. You're horny as fuck, but she was a bitch to you earlier. You think it's not easy not to fuck her that night? But you have to. Otherwise, you're only reinforcing bad behavior. You're showing her that all she has to do is give up the pussy and she's out of trouble, which by definition puts the pussy on a pedestal. You are accepting her vagina as penance for what she's done. And women use their vaginas as a get out of jail free card all the time. They're always poorly behaved. Anthony, you have personal experience with this. You were married to Medusa. You were fucking her every day, 3 times a day, and all of a sudden she decided to say, nope, I'm not gonna fuck you.
I don't think it was 3 times a day every day forever, but it was a lot. Sometimes 3 times a day. I fucked that black girl the other night 3 times in a row. It was pretty dope.
Shit, man, you have fucked more black girls in the last in the last decade than I have.
She was actually on my third, and she was asking me. She's like, "You ever fucked a black girl before?" I was like, "Yeah." The one was half black, but whatever.
Whatever. So 1.5.
But no, so you're hitting the nail on the head, and I just want to actually voice that first of all. That I mean, as Steve would say, facts, son. Like, you absolutely just laid this out really, really well. The most important point I heard you say is that women who use the vagina, they will use the vagina card to get out of jail free card, first of all.
Right.
And when you allow that, that's rewarding bad behavior. You're setting up a really bad dynamic. It's going to spiral downhill. With Medusa, there was a point, and this was like bait and switch kind of stuff that, I mean, she was BPD and fucking bananas, but any woman is capable of doing this. And it's common that you hear about this in news stories and Reddit posts, dead bedroom, shit like that. 6 months into the marriage, so 3 years after I met her-ish, I tried cutting the sex off, whereas up to that point, we had fucked almost literally every day for 3 years. And for me, it was first it was verbal. I was like, first of all, it was weird. Like, it felt weird because I could feel like the manipulation going on.
Right.
At that point, it was very overt, whereas usually she was covert as a standard kind of style. And so first it was verbal. First of all, first I could feel it. Second, I verbalized it. I was like, hey, you know, I didn't sign up for that. I love you, but I didn't sign up for that. So we're not going to do that. So what we are going to do is keep fucking whenever I want, or I'm going to leave. And it was very like dry, like cold. And she was just like, she froze the fuck up because she expected a different response.
Right.
In her head, she had somehow planned this out. She had a plan of action, shit like this. And I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that. In fact, I'm going to fucking end the marriage, like literally almost immediately. If you want to keep doing this. And so that was a part of my personality, I suppose, she didn't understand or overestimated her own position. SMV wise, relationship wise, and all that. And as you guys have known, if you have watched the speech, I was not legally married. I never got legally married to this woman. I think that's a very bad idea in the vast majority of cases today in America to do that. What I did was called a private marriage, which in terms of like relationship power and stuff like that, I really safeguarded myself. In that case, I'm a very vicious, toxic woman, but even in general, from any woman that I happen to get into that kind of arrangement with, getting a private marriage is very much like a real marriage, minus the legal entanglements that really fuck you over.
Bingo.
In this kind of dynamics, which will spill over to the stuff you were just laying out to these guys with rewards, punishments, behaviors. This is all power dynamics that need to be firmly in your direction. Another one I wanted to bring up outside of Medusa was not too long ago. Super hot 22-year-old. Most girls I bang are like mid to late 20s, and then some are the 30s, and then a few I'll get like 19, 20, 21. This girl's 22, fucking smoking hot. Like off of Tinder, this is rare these days. Most hot girls you get off of like Bumble or Seek an Arrangement these days, at least in Orlando. But anyway, super hot little 22-year-old off Tinder. I'd fucked her 3-4 times at this point, like different days. And we're in the bathroom at my house one morning at the Manister White House, obviously. And she had, and I was like hard kind of walking around. It was like 8 in the morning or something. She had to get going. And she grabbed my dick and tried putting it inside of her. And I basically like almost smacked her. I was like, fucking smacked her hand away. And I grabbed her and I was like, don't you ever fucking grab my cock without my permission.
Straight up.
And she wasn't being bad the night before or anything. She was being good, if anything. But it was in the moment like that. And I reacted like very quick. It was very, I mean, it felt good to do it. And she fucking loved it. I mean, she's fucking like absolutely giddy with this. And what I didn't want her to do, I guess, in the moment or at any point was like take control of that reward dynamic. Like you said, in your buddy in Vegas, he called his dick the God Rod. I think
he called it the Rod of God. His name
the Rod of God.
Rodney, he called his dick the Rod of God.
Exactly. Or the King's Scepter or whatever the fuck, right? So it really is. It really is. And you have to, and so even if she's not being I don't think she was being intentionally bad in that case, but I wanted to make sure that we didn't even get in that footing, that my cock is the reward, my cock is the attention. That's something I asked Cobra Tate that in Poland when I interviewed him. I'm like, what do women like more, attention or dick? And it was kind of a trick question because really to most women, this is the same thing because they're all about the feels and the emotions and things like that.
Right.
Anyway, end rant. I hope guys learned something from that, but don't let women use your dick unless you allow them to, and stay in command of it, stay in control of it, just like the Rod of God.
My dick belongs to me, man. Fuck that.
Exactly. It belongs to you. And she only gets it when you allow her to, good or bad.
No, listen, I get it, man. And here's the thing, man. Like you see, like when girls talk to each other, they'll say they'll be bitching and moaning, right? Oh, you know, Donovan's pissed off and he's ignoring me. They'll ask, well, why was he ignoring you? Well, I was a bitch earlier, but as soon as I see him, I'm just going to give him some pussy and he'll forget about it. Okay. You do not want that dynamic, right? Understand this, guys. Correcting and punishing bad behavior is not easy to do consistently. It's very easy to reward good behavior. It's easy to take her to Vegas or Atlantic City or the beach when she's giving you world-class meals and giving you a world-class blowjob all week. It's easy to surprise her with a nice gift because you can't remember the last time she got out of pocket. It's very easy to reward her, okay? But it is far from easy to punish bad behavior, guys. It sucks. She's going to throw fits. She's going to cry. She's going to shit test you. The shit sucks, man. Trust me. But if you want to get the best out of your woman, then you must either correct or punish bad behavior no less than 100% of the time. Tolerating her adverse reactions to your decreasing availability. And by the way, this is one way to reprimand her bad behavior. Pardon me. Tolerating those adverse reactions is key. Remaining absolutely stone-faced, gentlemen, when she cries in front of you because you told her the next time she reactivated her Facebook page behind your back, that she was out the door. That shit's not easy. Punishing bad behavior is hard, but this is why it's necessary and this is why it works. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna go on the other side of the street because I think it's easy. I think reprimanding her is easier than rewarding her. Let me tell you why. From my view, you see, for me and what I try to teach men is that they lack a vision statement on themselves. They lack a mission statement on themselves, and they lack a legacy statement on themselves. So, when a woman meets them, they don't know what they're dealing with. And most important, they lack a you statement on themselves. They don't know how to present themselves to a woman to explain to them that I'm a drama-free man. If you bring any kind of drama into my life, and if it's really severe, you're not just gone. But even if you're dating me, again, it's not about I like how y'all was saying the dick rod and the scepter. That shit was funny.
The rod of God.
The rod of God, right. Where a lot of guys go wrong is that they think it's about the rod of God, so to speak. When to me, as a man, it's about my motherfucking time. My time is the reprimand, and my time is the reward. So regardless of what she does, that's why it's easy to me, because if she gets out of line, she loses my time. And she knows that if she loses my time is going to another woman or somewhere else other than her. So it's like she's losing air when she loses my time. But when she gets my time, it's the most rewarding thing in the world, because she's saying, out of all the women and all the options that he has, he's spending it with me. Oh my God, I'm the lucky one. I won the lottery. So I need to make sure that I don't get out of line to lose his time. And see, a lot of guys don't think that way, because a lot of guys are not strong in their beliefs on who they are. They're always continuously making excuses and blaming women for everything that's going wrong in their life, when it's really the opposite way, or opposite around, Donovan and Anthony. When a woman sees that your foundation is built on hay and sticks, she can blow it over, walk all over it, and do whatever she wants. So I think it's easy to do both, because it's all about my time.
No, I agree. There was actually a question in the chat. I couldn't find where it was, but someone in the chat asked, is it me, or is the concept of a relationship dying? Anthony, what are your thoughts on that? What's your answer to that?
Yeah, I saw that and I posted that in the private chat. It came from the Reprimand group live chat, not the one on your channel. Gotcha. It was from I think some dude named Georgia Redmud or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, because I thought about that too, and so I wanted to actually talk about that. So I agree with him. I mean, that's a question I've asked myself, and I think because he's noticing the same stuff I do, that even the dating and relationships and the sexual marketplace today, it's constantly changing due to feminism, culture, all this bullshit, right? We see that with Me Too, Believe Women, things that didn't exist in the 90s when I grew up and all that. Same for you guys earlier in the time, right? But yeah, I think relationships, monogamous relationships, like old school ones, they're kind of dying out. Obviously, they still exist. They still operate to the extent, these women are not hoeing it up and they're actually monogamous. But yeah, I think the concept itself is kind of dying out. And I don't know where that's going to lead. I don't think it's a good thing. I think that's probably, we're seeing the slow motion. I would see that as related to the slow motion death of the extended family that DDJ talks about, the slow motion death of the family in the United States, along with marriage and literally babies and family and stuff like that. These things fizzling out. You're seeing that go so far into what used to be just fucking normal, right? At least for the past 100 years. Like the concept of dating that we see now is actually came about 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Andrew the Private Man gave me a book on it. Actually, I have it. It's like the history of dating or something like that. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I think it's dying out, and that's not a good thing. And it's just weird, man. Like that's why a lot of guys are even averse. Like I haven't been in a monogamous relationship. Well, technically a long ass fucking time, but I haven't been in any kind of relationship formally in 3.5, almost 4 years now. And I've turned down a lot of girls to do that. Well, a lot of girls in the context that I've been, hooking up with and stuff on Tinder, because I know it's not, the whole culture is not conducive for this right now. It's very hostile to it.
Yeah.
If she fucks off and cheats or does some other fucking bullshit behind my back or whatever, like there's zero social consequences and every encouragement for her to engage in this dumbass behavior. And that's unique. Like I agree with Steve that it's all on you at the end of the day. Your life is your own responsibility. You should take extreme ownership of it. I think that's loosely what Steve's saying, but these dynamics, they're not even operating even right now in places like Poland and Romania and stuff like that, and Ukraine, and probably other countries too, like maybe Colombia and parts of Asia. These issues that we're seeing, like monogamy and these relationships dying out, like the commenter's saying, it's unique to places like America and Canada. And I think it's worse in cities and probably a little bit less bad. Like Goldman Unleashed, one of our speakers, he's actually traveling around America right now. And he's going to a lot of smaller cities and he's finding differences in how people operate. Oh shit, we lost Donovan.
Well, Anthony, check this out, Anthony. The thing is here's the thing. I believe for the majority, yes, that's a true statement. But for the few, that's not. And let me explain why. Think about this, Anthony. How many women nowadays are running into a man that sees the big picture, who has vision, sets direction, thinks critically, sends clear, concise messages, expects and drives results, acts decisively, is assertive, takes risks, and is fearless? Think about that for Anthony. It's not too many men doing that. So for the ones that are and have those kind of mindsets, they are living on a wealth of women because they have the tools that women find not only sexual, but relationship wise as submitting to. See, the majority of guys out there, they're too busy not taking accountability, not taking responsibility, and making excuses, and not realizing that, you know what, you're king, you're God, you're everything. But when you get in front of a woman, you're mush. So to me, Anthony, when it comes to relationships, whether it is dating, sending dick pics, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whatever it is, whatever interaction you have with a woman, whatever it is, for the majority of guys out there who don't know and are afraid of women, of course, no woman wants to be in a relationship with that person. Yes, Anthony, she will marry that person because of living, security reasons. But sure, she's going to be looking for someone to sexually or mentally satisfy her with those types of behaviors that I mentioned. No, not too many men have those qualities, and that's the issue and problem. See, go ahead.
I can jump in. I think it's like a chicken and the egg kind of thing.
Yes.
So I'm following what you're saying, and for the most part, I agree. What I see happening, like someone in the comments said, trad relationships or like music sales, like they're dying out, right? Like who's buying CDs and 99-cent songs on iTunes? I think they still have them. I saw the other day, but I'm like, who the fuck buys this now? Everyone's just on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever the fuck, right?
Right.
So I see the death of all these different things, the slow motion collapse of extended family, nuclear family, trad relationships, like he's saying.
Right.
You see the rise of single motherhood. There's stats on this. That's gone way up since the 1970s, whereas before it was pretty stable because it was looked down on because it's a bad thing, right? And we know that now from stats. Right. So I think these, it's not just single mothers. You can't put everything on them, but these things are all symptoms of a culture that's increasingly dysfunctional. And that's why, the men are less masculine, the women are less feminine. So you see less relationships, you see less marriages, you see less happy, healthy children that are raised to be feminine women or masculine men, both with strong boundaries and things like that, like healthy psychological development. Right. So we're seeing like a snowball effect, a cascading effect of this stupid dysfunctional shit. That's really, I think, at the source of it, the root would be feminism.
Yeah,
like a very, very long train of feminism that's blown up, and other things too, like birth control and shit. I mean, there's just so much shit going on in the world right now in the culture or in sexual dynamics like this that for the past fucking 100,000 years didn't exist. Like none of this shit.
No,
So it's
right.
really weird. It's a weird time to live in.
Well, no, I believe you're absolutely right. But see, what I'd like to get guys to do, yes, the everything you said is absolutely. I feel you with my hands and my feet. But for the individual, he's got to do more of a self-assessment of himself to see where he is in the place of all of this. Yeah, all of that is going on around us, absolutely. But what role does he play when he's in front of a woman? What is the role he plays? And based on the role he plays is going to be the story of him either having a woman that wants him because he sees the big picture, he has vision, he has direction, he has drive, he's in a impactful way, versus the guy that's gaslighting her because she's beautiful, I'll accept her crumbs, and I won't give all of myself because she's my world. So,
yeah, it's all that fake nice guy crap. That it's shitty. It's super shitty for both parties, right? The women get these overinflated egos filled with nonsense from these dudes, and then the dudes get nothing in return. And then Chad swoops in and is slinging dick pics or whatever, like me, and gets whatever he's doing.
Big thanks goes out to Jerry Clout with the $4 super chat. Says, "Respect, gentlemen." All right, well, let's get into some of this actionable advice. Let's talk about how and when to reward good behavior and reprimand and punish bad behavior. And we'll start with rewarding good behavior first. What women value the most from men is our desire, our attention, our time, our affection, and our commitment. And these are what we reward women with, right? Small rewards are verbally acknowledging the standard little things consistently, right? Standard little things are things she should be doing anyway. Genuine acknowledgement and verbal appreciation, guys, that goes a long way. Okay, that goes a long way with women. Like I said, if your woman cooks you a good meal, just say thank you. Okay, if you can see she makes an effort to look good every time she sees you, tell her, I'll have to come around a lot more if you keep looking like that, right? Yeah. Don't be meathead red pill guy and say, I'm not going to compliment her on shit she should be doing anyway. If your girl makes an effort to be a good woman to you by doing the little things and you never give her verbal approval, she's only going to stick around for so long, guys. Yes, she should be doing these things anyway because they want to make you happy. But this is a two-way street here, guys. You've got to let her know when she's doing it right. No, this doesn't mean to make a big production out of it. Oh my God, you're the hottest blonde since Amber Heard, or sweet mother of God, this chicken parm is better than Gordon Ramsay's. No. But consistent acknowledgement and verbalized appreciation is important to women when done correctly. If it's over the top, she'll take it for granted. She'll stop trying it eventually. She'll think her shit doesn't stink, right? But if you don't do it enough, she's not going to think she's moving the needle with you. You do not need to give her verbal acknowledgement 100% of the time. Like I said before, I keep it to maybe 50 to 60% of the time, give or take, in either direction. Again, this isn't supplicating behavior, guys. This is simply understanding that women do need approval and validation from you. Nothing over the top, nothing theatrical, but they do need it. Steve, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, what I've always loved to teach guys is you got to listen with your eyes and listen with your ears. Okay, listen with your eyes, guys, and listen with your ears. When you get around a woman, okay, whatever part of the relationship you're in, you got to see the things that they like. If it's a little pastry, if it's a drink, if it's a popcorn, if it's something, you got to know your opponent, or not your opponent, but the woman that you're dealing with. You don't say much. Like, again, maybe her favorite, maybe she likes a pastry. That's her favorite thing that she doesn't get all the time for herself. But you notice the look she has when she's eating it, the delight that she has, how she lights up when she has her favorite popcorn, her favorite drink, or something small. That's where you listen with your eyes. So when you reward her, it's a lot when you go out of your way to go to that store, buy that pastry, and have it waiting for her. That's the reward, because then she realizes, wow, I didn't even have to tell him that. How did he know? And that's what we're trying to tell you. Like Donovan said, it's not the big things. You don't have to say, oh, baby, you're the best. No, it's the little things that separate the men from the boys. It's the ones that can read with their eyes and their ears and acknowledge what the things that she likes, because you got to know. If you don't know your woman, that's the biggest problem, guys. You got to know what your woman likes without you having to ask. All you have to do is this one thing, gentlemen: observe. All you do is observe, and through observing, You will know the little things. And those, Donovan, are the things that I reward with without her having to tell me, sir.
Anthony, your thoughts on rewarding? What do you give? What do you give a woman in terms of rewards for good behavior, if anything?
Well, yeah, what I think is going on here, and I'm not in a long-term relationships like you guys, so it's a little bit different for me. But what really comes to mind fundamentally when I hear both of you speak about this is I would call fatherly energy, to steal a concept from Elliot Hall's study set recently on the 21 report. And so, we say that in the red pill, especially, the women have daddy issues. This is not news. This is not new. It's not new in 2019. It wasn't true new 50 years ago, whatever. And when we say women have daddy issues, what we mean is, what I think is important with that is that every girl has a hunger for father-like energy. Like, that means masculine leadership, in my opinion.
Yes.
Is really what that means. And if she had a great relationship with her dad, or a shitty one, or no relationship, there's still a desire for that. And the dynamic of relationship with her father then is going to influence like how severe we would say she has daddy issues, whether she's a stripper on the pole or something else, right? Or even none of that bad shit. But with all women, there's a hunger for that. And I think that's what you guys are, in my opinion, that's what I hear you guys communicating, is that you have to dish that out in a way that's like relationship responsible to yourself,
Yes.
so to speak.
Yep.
So it's fatherly. Like, how would it, like, I see Socrates interact with his 4-year-old daughter all the time. You know what he doesn't do? He doesn't suck up to her. He doesn't spoil her. He doesn't overdo it, but he pays attention to her because he loves her. And I think that there's something to be taken from that in real life adult relationships, that like what you guys are talking about, and rewards and punishments and stuff. There's got to be like this very, I wouldn't say careful balance to it, but very like masculine balance to it. That's thoughtful and that's powerful. And whether a woman's fucked up on the pole, like I said, or not, or anywhere in between, they still hunger for that. And I think both of you dish that out really well. And that's why you have like successful long-term relationships in large part.
No, I agree 100%. You absolutely, you have to, and this takes practice, guys. Like, there's no doubt about it. You have to know when and how and to what degree to reward your woman. So let's talk a little bit about big rewards. Big rewards are caused by consistency and overt acts of goodness. And by big rewards, I'm talking about taking her to a nice restaurant or a weekend getaway. And remember, guys, we're not talking about fuck buddies or plates or some chick you fuck every 2 weeks. We're talking about your main chick, your woman, your significant other, your wife, if you happen to have one. Do not reward her in this way for shit she should be doing anyway. I don't take Devin to a nice restaurant every single time she puts on heels and lets me ass fuck her while she pretends to like it, guys. That's the shit that she should be doing anyway. But when she does it consistently, that's when I reward her like this. And never, ever tell her, okay, I'm doing this for you because you did X, Y, Z, right? Never proactively tell her why you're rewarding her. She'll know why. She might not be able to pinpoint the exact reason, but women know instinctively when they're holding it down as your girl.
Even if they don't know, they want to figure it out. Like, you don't want to interrupt that process.
Exactly. That's even better. And the more she thinks, the more attractive you are going to be with her. They know when they're doing right by you, and they know that they deserve to be rewarded when consistently being a good woman to you. So there's no reason for you to proactively explain why you're doing what you're doing for her. However, it is okay to give a reactive answer. So I'll give an example. Sometimes a woman may have an idea as to why you're rewarding her in this way, but sometimes she really does want to know why you're taking her to a nice dinner. And this is a good thing. And the reason why for this, just like Anthony said, her mind is subconsciously looking for the behavior that gets this reaction, right? Her subconscious is telling her, find out why he's taking you to the beach this weekend so you can continue to do the thing that gets this treatment. This is how good habits are formed within your woman. Steve, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that you're absolutely on point. But please, guys, understand this is for your number one. This ain't for a booty call, okay? So what I'm saying is that when she's doing right, that means she's keeping her mouth closed. She knows her place at the table. She ain't putting her business on the street. She's not raising her voice, and she's doing what she's supposed to do to please me. I have no problem when she gets home to rub her back, give her a nice full body massage. I have no problem taking her somewhere, kissing her hand, and telling her, you know what, I'm appreciating you because you know what, you acting right. That you are doing everything that I expect you to do without me having to ask you. So for me, I don't mind telling her the why, because the same reasons that she gets the rewards are the same reasons why she could lose me. if she doesn't act correctly. Because like I said before, I don't need you as much as you need me.
Right.
But because you realize your role and you realize that you're not bringing any drama, you're chilling out, you're doing what's being told to do without me having to ask you to do anything, and you staying in your lane, which you're supposed to, of course I'm gonna reward that behavior. When I see you, like, it's okay to walk up to her and kiss her on the top of her head and just say that's just because. It's okay to send her a message and saying, you know what, I'm just thinking about you. Things like that are things that they should get sparingly when they are doing what's right, to keep them on the same pathway of doing right. It's when they get out of order, it's when you yank it. But we're talking about how you reward it. That's how I reward it. It's and those are big things, because women love body massages. Women love when you turn off the TV or the video games or whatever and just focus all your time on them. Those are the kind of rewards that will drive their behavior to do better and greater, because they want that again.
All right, guys. So to review on the reward side, okay, if you get for those of you taking notes, let's keep it at 50 to 60% on the little things, the verbal acknowledgement and the praise. If she makes you 10 great dinners, tell her thank you 6 to 7 times, right? And fill in the other 3 or 4 times with maybe an ass smack or something like that. If she looks good 10 times, tell her she looks good 6 to 7 times, and fill in the other 3 or 4 times that you don't with an ass smack. You guys see how that works? She cooks good, she gets a smack in the ass. She looks good, she gets a smack in the ass. If she sucks some good dick and actually likes a smack in the face, right, that might actually be the case. But if that's not your girl, an ass smack will suffice. For consistently going above and beyond as your woman, reward her with the bigger things like the weekend getaways, the nice dinners, and more of your attention and time. Now, before we move on to punishments, we got a question in here by Big Teasy, who says, so y'all saying no Valentine's or birthdays unless she's acting right. I'm going to go first on this one. That's exactly what I'm saying. If your woman, just because it's her birthday or Christmas or Valentine's Day, that does not mean that I have to give her gifts. Oh, no. I give you gifts if you deserve it, right? I treat you well if you deserve to be treated well. If on the day I decide to treat you well happens to be Valentine's Day and you have a good track record up to that point, then I will reward you. My good treatment of you is not dictated by the calendar. My good treatment of you is dictated by your behavior. Anthony, what do you think about that?
Sorry, I was distracted reading some of the comments here.
Nope, you're good.
Could you repeat what some of the basics of it?
Yeah, the guy asked what's on the screen. Says so.
Yeah. No, sorry, but that I'm following. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I have some experiences. Yeah, so any woman her birthday and Valentine's Day holidays are not excuses to act up, and women, especially manipulative women, will leverage this stuff in a heartbeat. They see holidays as a special, like, independent thing that they will use to fuck up and act out like that. So yeah, hell no. I mean, what comes to mind is that when it matters most, you need to put your foot down, not back down, which is what this guy's, I think, Big Teasy is suggesting, or at least trying to investigate.
Yeah.
So yeah, when everything's on the line for a holiday and she's acting up, she's probably doing that on purpose as a shit test.
Of course.
As a big shit test.
Right.
And you need to pass that by fucking body slamming the shit test.
A lot of women like to act poorly around their birthday, Valentine's Day, holidays because they think they know they're going to get rewarded. If you reward her after she behaves poorly, this sets a precedent later on. I could not be more serious about this.
I would think that they're using the holiday as like a shell to encapsulate like excessively bad behavior that they know they couldn't get away with any other day of the year. And yeah, that could be birthdays, Valentine's Day, other holidays and stuff. Yeah, it's stupid. Don't put up with it.
Well, and some women, on the other hand, will be good close to those days.
Yes.
Bad all the other days. But what's important for guys to understand, this is a man show for men. And a lot of you guys, now Big Teasy, you right about what you're saying, but saying it and doing it are two different things. A real man will do that. I believe that if she is acting up and she is out of line, there will be no birthday gifts. There won't be anything for Valentine's Day and nothing under the tree except a pink slip. But what's important here is that don't talk about it, be about it. And
real talk.
And if you're not about it all year long, then you ain't going to do it on Valentine's, Christmas, or birthday for fear you might lose her. So, yes, you are absolutely right. But this is for men and men only. If she knows that she's not going to get out of line because she won't get anything from a man. But most of you guys, because y'all believe the TV shows and commercials, you think you're going to be in this thing called a doghouse or something like that. I can't be a doghouse when I have the house. So he's right, gentlemen, but that's on some man shit right there.
Yeah, don't ever let women dictate where you sleep. Like huge no. All the doghouse bullshit. Yeah, you see on TV, and people do that in real life too. It's very toxic.
TV because the doghouse apparently is a real thing. The only doghouse that's in my house is where my dogs sleep at night in their crates. That's the doghouse. I'm never sleeping there. Okay, so let's move to the other side. Let's talk about the reprimands. Correcting and reprimanding your woman's bad behavior is much simpler. Okay, but it's much more difficult. While we understand that we can't let anything slide, meaning that we have to correct, punish, or correct and punish bad behavior 100% of the time, we also understand that this isn't easy. Guys, it is hard to punish women we care about. Okay, it's hard to punish the people we care about. Parents hate yelling at their kids. They hate spanking their kids. They hate grounding their kids. They hate punishing their kids. But good parents know that this is necessary if they want to get the best out of their children and raise them to be well-adjusted and respectful adults. So now you guys are probably saying, okay, Donovan, we get it. You got to punish your woman's bad behaviors. But how do we know what bad behaviors are? How do we determine what bad behaviors are bad and which behaviors are not? Now, unlike the first couple of questions from my sort of make-believe, questions there, this is a very stupid question because the answers are obvious, but it's understandable because we as men, just like you guys are saying in the chat, we've been raised to sort of tamp down our masculinity. We've been raised to tamp down our logic and our basic instincts when it comes to female behavior. We've been told to ignore and even encourage bad female behavior, and we've been trained to characterize these behaviors as healthy or common and natural. But then we wonder why 99.9% of women in this country make horrible wives and mothers. But I digress. Let me answer the question, how can we tell which behaviors are bad? Well, there are only two qualifications, gentlemen, okay? Qualification number one, that behavior is conducive to infidelity. Qualification number two is that behavior is disrespectful. Let me add a number three. That behavior makes your Y chromosome meter redline. No pun intended, as in something inside you tells me that what she just did or said is fucked up. Okay? There's another important detail you guys need to keep in mind here. Because when we're dealing with when we're dealing with rewarding and reprimanding your girlfriend, wife, significant other, whatever you call her, you will rarely have to correct bad behavior. In other words, you will rarely have to explain it. You'll rarely have to verbally reprimand her. Why? Because if you did your job as a red pill aware male, you didn't jump into a relationship with her because she gives great blowjobs. You didn't suggest an exclusive relationship because she was kind to you for a month. Nah, player, you vetted your woman thoroughly and made her earn your commitment by putting her through her paces and training her properly. This means that she provided you with the great sex and the great treatment, right? None of that was a facade or a mask to try to rope you into a relationship, then pull the bait and switch on you, just like Steve said earlier. You made damn sure that she wasn't faking the funk and that she understood that this is what was expected of her. During that time, you explained and demonstrated, because a woman does need time to adjust to being with a man like you. You understood that because she's been taught that her bad behaviors are natural and healthy, that there was going to be a learning curve. You didn't act like meathead red pill guy and excuse her after one mistake. No. You were patient, you were consistent, but you were firm, and you made damn sure she had what it took to be your girl. Only then did you give her the privilege of being your woman, and by this time, there really shouldn't be too much explaining necessary, which means she knows what behaviors are acceptable and which behaviors are not if you did your job properly. So when your woman gets out of pocket, engages in bad behavior, or is disrespectful, there is no correction necessary, only reprimands. And there is only one way to reprimand a woman who should know what's okay and what's not, and that is withdrawing what she values the most, which is your time, your attention, your affection, and if necessary, your commitment. Steve, you mentioned earlier, you said, listen, you got to.
I can actually hop in on this real quick. I got something I want to add, Donovan. So you're hitting the nail on the head here with these end things, right? The attention, time, these things, right? But one thing I think the guys overlook is women are like super sensitive to social cues. So reprimanding could even be, if it's going to be done verbally, it could be done very, very simplistically, and it could be just the tone of voice you take. And if the tone of your voice changes enough to where she's getting negative feels from you, or something harsh like that, that could be enough to shut down the behavior or punish it or something like that. But it's easy to forget that as a guy because you're not quite as tuned into that. But for women, that's everything. The tone of voice you take as a powerful man in her life means a lot to her. And it's easy to forget little body language, things like that, little subtleties, even something as simple as tone of voice, pacing, speed, or turning your back on her as you talk to her. Just walk away.
Yep. That's all right.
Anyway, and rant.
Listen, that was well said. Steve, what are your now here's a comment in the chat that's really, really good. Mysterion Flex says, if you punish her and she leaves, she was going to anyway. These hoes monkey branch to the higher quality male. So if she's with you, then you are likely the best she can get at the moment. Punish her. Oh. Steve, what are your thoughts on that comment?
Here we go with this hypergamy bullshit again. Let me say something to you why what you said is why you lose. If you a real man, who gives a fuck if she goes to the higher guy? Why do you care? Why, if she's gonna move up, why do you give a fuck? Stop that hypergamy bullshit. It's bullshit. Now, now see, if guys like you were to sit her ass down on every different phase of your relationship, giving her your expectations, then you wouldn't be making comments like that. You're right. If she leaves, she leaves. But if she goes up, down, left, or right, why do you give a fuck? Excuse my language. But I get sick of these guys using this hypergamy bullshit. There ain't no such thing as hypergamy as a man because you don't care what she does. If she wants to leave, let her go. But anyway, I'm sorry, Donovan and A1. But what I'm saying is this. At the end of the day, you guys have got to stop jumping from meeting the chick to moving her into your house. Every phase that you meet a woman is a phase you got to sit her ass down and let her know this quote unquote your expectations. You don't do that. You let it go with you fly by night, and then you want to handle it when it's too late. If you know your value and your worth, you set expectations. And then she should know when, like Anthony said, when you turn your back on her, when you stop speaking to her, that's death to her. Why? Yep. Because she knows how important you are to her, because she knows if your attention is not on her, that means she's 1 foot out the door. So y'all got to stop coming up with these cockamamie, hypergamous ass bullshit excuses and say, fuck it. Y'all got too much heart and y'all care.
If I can add a tactical tip to this, the ultimate takeaway I've ever done in my life is, and this is savage as fuck, women, like Steve's saying, it's death to women if you turn your back on them and walk away.
Yes.
If you are fucking a woman mid-fuck and she has no idea you're going to do this, you pull your dick out and you walk out of the room and you get your shit and you just fucking leave, just silent. Women, you will see, you will see the whole mask of her maternal ancestors come off like, freak the fuck out. It's an absolute power move. One of our old speakers, Steve Manta, taught me this, and it's a very savage punishment to just fuck them and then walk, man.
Pull out.
What you're doing is you're denying them your seed. You're not just denying them your attention and your time and your dick. You're denying them your DNA. And women today, especially, are not used to this. This is really rare. And when you do this, it's fucking amazing. The results you'll see with your woman from doing this is astounding.
Way home, dude, she will call you so much.
Oh yeah,
you'll have to turn off your phone because it's getting too hot, man.
Yep, they will physically chase you. Like they will like fucking predator mode chase your ass down. Like it's a movie. Yeah,
they're panicking because they know that. See, the thing that you guys that you have that we're trying to give these guys is that they know you have options.
Here you go.
See, the key is when she knows a man has options and she's messing up, she knows she's 1 foot out. When Anthony turns his back, she's like, oh my God, that means the next woman's up. What did I do wrong? And that's what we're trying to tell you guys. The more options you have, you don't have to say much because like Anthony said, your actions dictate it. And not turning your back, that's game there.
It's the ultimate action. I know, denying a woman your sperm. Like I think a lot of men think that social proof and women being around you in pictures or with you in real life is a demonstration you have options. In part, it is, but I think the biggest demonstration of options is an action of denying a woman your sperm. Nothing says you have options to reproduce elsewhere than doing that, and physically walking away and being totally calm and cool about it. It's stone cold savage, but it works really, really well.
It fucks
As
with
a yeah, it does. And even as an experiment, it's worth. I mean, about encouraging men in their happy relationships to fuck them up, but as an experiment someday, I recommend that at some point in your life as a man, you try this. It's amazing.
Just
mind-blowing.
Just so she knows that your sexual attention can never be taken for granted.
Yep.
Now, in terms of reprimanding your woman, guys, we're not going to sit here and give you guys 27 examples of bad behavior and give you 3 variations on how to deal with each one. Because at this stage of your relationship with your woman, the only way to effectively punish and severely discourage bad behavior, just like Anthony said, is the immediate withdrawal of your time, your attention, and your affection. This means, gentlemen, and understand this is very simple. This means removing yourself from the situation until she acknowledges, apologizes, and makes amends for her behavior. And I'll give you one example, okay, of all of this in action. And you can actually apply this to just about every kind of bad behavior your woman engages in. And I've used this example on my show several times. So a lot of you guys may have probably already heard this, but this perfectly applies to training, reward, and reprimand. Let's say you walk up behind your woman, you grab her tits, and she knows that this is what you do to let her know you want to fuck. If she pulls away or denies you sex, leave her place immediately and don't say a word. Okay? Don't say a word on your way out. If she's at your place, tell her to leave. If you live together, go get a hotel room. Don't argue, don't converse, don't do anything but remove yourself from the situation. This lets her know that if she doesn't uphold her end of the bargain, which is sex, then you will not uphold your end of the bargain, which is attention, company, companionship, etc. If she asks you, where are you going? Silence. If she says to you, well, so this is just about sex for you? Silence. If she says, oh my God, this is so over, silence. If she says, okay, I get it, let's have sex, silent. No matter what she says, asks, or does, do not utter a single word to her, even if she throws the pussy at you, because regardless of what she says, she knows why you're leaving, gentlemen. Do not turn back. You need to leave. That's how this goes. Not only have you shown her that sex is a requirement for your company, you've also activated dread. She has no idea where you're going, and because she knows you're leaving because she didn't put out, her imagination is going to start to run wild and get the better of her. Have either of you done this in your relationships?
Hang on. Some of the guys in the comments are commenting on my predator comment. When I said predator and she'll go predator on you, I mean like from the movie The Predator, like in the trees and shit. Like, so that's what I was referring to. Sorry to interrupt, Donovan.
No, that's okay. My dogs are in here barking. My dog just ate the cat food on the window. So we got boxes all around. As soon as I'm done with this show, I'm actually going to be moving.
Yeah,
no,
nice.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Steve, have you ever just walked out on a woman who denied you sex?
It's not even denying me sex. It's without anything. If I'm not happy, and because it's all about me anyway, I'm walking. Because as soon as I see, this is what guys gotta understand. Women that always have that next guy, right? She gets mad, she'll call that next guy, right? Well, she knows automatically when I'm quiet and I walk away, I'm picking up the phone and next woman up. It's like those little ticket things you take at the store where they say, number 89, you're up. Oh, exactly.
Get that deli meat. Get that deli meat.
Deli meat, yeah.
Give me that roast beef.
There you go. The next woman is the deli meat. A1, exactly. So my silence and me walking away shows her that guess what? Next woman up. And she's got to then fall because it's a roster. If she's at number 3, she falls down to 7. She's got to work her way back up because I don't have time. Listen, you're getting my time. You're getting my dick. And you're getting my time again. And you don't have to give me sex. But if you don't give me, remember, guys, no means go find someone else who will. Because I'm not going to beg you for something I can get automatically from other women. So goodbye. I'm good. I'll just go on to the next one. Walk away, like you said, Donovan. And don't say anything, brother.
Yeah, want what you want, own what you want, and get what you want. And if you don't get what you want, fucking walk. Like, it's powerful, man. You have options. And when you take those actions, they see that and they feel that. That's the most important thing, I think, is when you do these things and you turn your back, you walk away, you punish her for something that is not occurring the way you want it to as a leader. they have to feel that. And that's what I think these things are doing. You're triggering and you're changing their emotional state. And that's women live by. They live and die by the sword of emotions. One thing I wanted to mention too, I don't know if this will get me labeled a red pill meathead or not, maybe, but at 31 and the physical shape I'm in, the kind of position I'm at in my life as an entrepreneur and stuff, dude, I'm fucking just cutthroat with women in terms of any kind of bad behavior over the course of the few weeks or months or whatever that'll fuck them. And I will just stop talking to them, ignore them, blow them out, block. I don't really block them, but kind of block them in my life. Just get rid of them and ignore them, and they're out. And I'm at a point in my life where I have the abundance where I can do that. And I can keep getting fresh new pussy like pretty much as often as I want. I'm not like some superstar, but I do pretty well. But yeah, I am cutthroat, and I think a lot of guys should be like that. I mean, I think that's going to get a little ridiculous. Like you guys are more nuanced in the way you're operating in your relationships.
Right.
But out in the battlefield of the sexual marketplace today, it's a fucking war zone, first of all, as a young man. Second of all, just be cutthroat. That's one of the best things you can do in this fucked up clown world of dystopian hookup culture and shit.
Well, Anthony,
cutthroat savage.
Well, here's the thing: is I want to. This Diz Farm guy said something. I like to address this. He said, apparently, Don, you post that on the front, please, so I can address it. Because apparently, hypergamy is BS. Because a real man can handle it. Some weak shit. Let me explain something to you, fam. Like Anthony just said, the problem with most of you guys is y'all care. Y'all come into the game putting your feelings in this game. And a man does not give a fuck what a woman does because he doesn't care about her making moves. Because guess what? She can move up and date the guy who has the mansion and the nice car. She's still gonna fuck the pool boy.
That's right.
She is. Yeah. You think she can listen? I'm gonna use Anthony or Anthony and Donovan. They can have a woman that moves up and gets a guy who's a millionaire, but she's still gonna come back to that dick. She's still gonna come back to A1, and she's still gonna come back to Donovan because she's getting her needs met on a living arrangements, but not man arrangements. You should not care what a woman does, and if you care about what a woman does, put more your feminine emotions into it. Like Anthony said, like Donovan said, you got to learn how to walk away. What did Roger say? Know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Right. Steve, what you're saying too is what I hear is that everything has a price. And if you're putting your care and your attention and time into her when and where it shouldn't be, that comes at an opportunity cost. You're not working on your body, your fitness, your finances, your business, your life, your career, your whatever your passion project is, whatever the fuck you're doing. Like you're not doing that,
yes,
which is what you should be doing probably anyway. And they like, even women like seeing you do that. So it's like, it's about setting your mindset right in the right direction. Like Donovan was talking about at the convention this year, I think.
That's what Donovan was talking
about. The 3 pillars, right?
Pillars of masculinity.
Donovan was talking about that. Yes, Donovan.
So Ben Price asks, when do you go back to interacting with her? Well, I'm going to give you the process. You don't all of a sudden just call her back. There is a process to make sure this doesn't happen again. Right. So the night you leave after she denies you sex, do not answer her calls or texts. Trust me when I tell you guys, she will blow your phone up with calls and texts. She's going to call you an asshole. She's going to tell you she loves you. She's going to tell you she hates you. She's going to send you pictures of her tits and so forth. She'll be all over the map emotionally, guys, which is exactly where you want her. Do not respond anything that night, guys. Make her sweat it out. After that, run standard dread game for, I would say, the next couple of days or so. Not extreme dread game where you go radio silent for a week. You want to keep her in your orbit, okay? Because if she thinks you've moved on, she will go fuck another guy, guaranteed. Yep. Instead, I would say text her maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the day with short, cold responses like, okay, or sure, or cool. Not answering the phone when she calls, okay? And denying her to physically see you or hear your voice for the next 48 hours.
It's like a fish. It's like a fish. You're keeping her on the hook. Just like you're just tugging at it, just like.
Listen, this is rock solid game here, guys. During that time, she's gonna offer her pussy on a platter, guys. If she texts you, "Hey, can I come over tonight?" or "Do you want to come over tonight?" respond with, "Nah, I'm busy," or something to that effect. Do not fuck her during your 48-hour dick detention period. Then here's where the game comes in, guys. This is where the game comes in. At the end of the 48 hours, at the end of day 2, shoot her a text that says, "We need to talk." Then you will give her a time that she will come over. Guys, this is going to send shockwaves through her body because she's assuming that you want to end things. No matter what she says in response, Do not respond. What? Okay, when she does come over, when she comes over that night and she timidly asks you what this is all about, here's what you tell her. Never mind. It wasn't important. And continue on as though nothing happened. Gentlemen, she will never deny you sex again for any reason. She will stop texting her ex. She will stop disrespecting you. She will cease whatever behavior you punished her for if you are a high-value guy, if you are worth it. Now, will she slip up now and again? Of course. Nobody's perfect. But in this instance, she's going to catch herself. She's going to self-correct and apologize immediately to you. Understand this, guys. Punishment should also come swift. Don't punish her for something she did 3 days ago. No. Remove yourself from the situation immediately and proceed with the punishment protocol. If you're at a dinner party and she disrespects you, say, grab your shit. We're leaving.
And Donovan, I think what I hear when I hear you say that, what that means is you got to let stuff go. If you miss the window of opportunity, it's better to let it go than try to bring it up and dig it. They're not in the headspace anymore. So even punishing them for something like that, it doesn't make sense to them.
And it's very
you might want to, and it might sound rational, but they don't like it. It's not going to do anything.
And it's very weak to try to punish her for something she did 3 days ago. It's
retroactively. Yeah, it's weak. Yeah.
If you're out on a date and you catch her on her phone, get the check from the waiter, leave the restaurant, and get her an Uber ride home. Go radio silent. If you're shopping and she entertains a conversation with another man in your presence without your permission, leave the store immediately and turn off your phone. In any and all situations, gentlemen, always remove yourself immediately, because by removing yourself, this is just what Steve said, you're removing your time, you're removing your attention, and you're removing your commitment. Run this 48-hour sort of quasi-dread game that will punish and correct her bad behavior. If it doesn't, then guess what, gentlemen? You picked the wrong girl or you didn't train her properly. Either way, it's on you. So that's the long answer to Ben Price's question. So when do you go back to interacting with her?
I wonder, Donovan, if what's happening today is we're seeing like culture become so dysfunctional with men and women in the dating marketplace that these women are basically getting like these really bad habits built up over time by all these beta males and shit, all this blue pill crap. That's what we're seeing. Like no woman's perfect. No man's perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? But we're seeing, I think, an increase in these behaviors, these stupid behaviors, whether it's a phone or texting an ex or like, posting shit on Instagram that they shouldn't be, a stupid empowerment meme or picture of their boobs or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I think the culture is like really fostering these habits to keep building up, and they're getting trained into these bad behaviors. And 10, 20 years ago, it wasn't like that. You had a lot less of that, I think.
Right. You know what, guys? Y'all are on point, and this is important. Don't just say it. No empty threats, guys.
Right.
You got to be able to back it up, because if you make that threat and she tests you or shit tests you and you do not, like Donovan said, like, hey, Donovan, like we did, Donovan, you remember like last night, I wish somebody would be on her cell phone while we had dinner. Please, I beg, hey, just do it for me, please.
Man.
So I can just excuse myself. Please do it. I beg you to do it. And they won't do it, because you know why? They know the repercussions. Because like you, A1, and like you, Donovan, you're standing on your principles. You're standing on who you are. And if they know that, hey, Anthony and Donovan, you don't have to say anything. You just have to look. See that, like back when we were young, I'm from the 70s. When we get in trouble, our parents used to look at us. They would say, we're going in the store, don't run around and act up. And as little kids, we run around and act up.
That's right.
And what they would do is, in the black community, A1, when they beat your ass before CPS and before everybody gets a trophy,
Jesus.
All mom would do or dad would do is look at you. And as soon as you got out that checkout line and got to that car, you getting your ass beat. So I know if you just look at a woman and she begins to text, she'll put that phone down, because those are repercussions, brother.
That's another thing, like I was saying earlier, like it's little things like that women are really tuned into. They're very sensitive to it if they like you and they respect you. So yeah, that's all you need sometimes, yeah. And that's old school America, man. That's savage as fuck. I remember these days back in the 90s, dude. I feel like it's, for now anyway, it's very heavily dissipated.
Oh, of course. I mean, like I said, what is it? Third, fourth, fifth wave feminism, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Things are fucked. And a lot of guys like to say, well, God, this is extreme and this and that and the other. Listen, man, extreme situations call for extreme measures, man.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you didn't have to do this with women. But the reason why we have to be so extreme with women is because they are acting extremely terrible. This is just how it is, guys.
I mean, look at the feminist movement. The feminist movement, I think, has always been really toxic and bad. But look at just the past 10 years. This shit has gotten like absolutely bananas.
Oh, it's threat
and that's why you see guys like me and others say like, all right, feminism needs to end. It needs to be destroyed as a movement. It's become universally toxic for everyone, for men, women, children, families, work environments, governments, military. It's fucked everything up that it touches, like poison. It's like the opposite of King Midas's touch. It's like the Queen of Death touching everything. I don't know what else you would call that, but yeah, Queen of Death.
Yeah, instead of you have the Midas touch, you have Medusa's touch.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Dude, I don't even want to get into it. Never mind. Every once in a while, I'll find a chick with a Medusa tattoo, like a big one, where you literally see a Medusa on her chest or her arm or something, and I'm always like, oh my God, like I can't even talk to this woman. Like it's just too fucked. Too fucked, man.
Jesus Christ, man. All right, well, guys, that's going to do it. That's all I've got on rewards and reprimands. The movers are going to be here in about 15 minutes. And the next time you guys will see me on air, I will be in the new TSR command center. And I mean, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be something I'm very much looking forward to that. Steve, give me your final thoughts on rewards and reprimands before we wrap this thing up here.
When it comes to rewards and reprimands, guys, it's all at the end of the day, it's going to come down to you and how you feel about yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in your narrative, she is not going to follow your lead, because women do. And I always say this, a woman will not respect a man whose pussy is tighter than hers. So at the end of the day, what's important here is that you, and I don't want to say man up because I don't want to say that. I'm saying learn you and learn what your boundaries are. So then you can relate those to women in a way where when they get out of order, you reprimand them, walk away like Anthony and Donovan said. But when they act right, you know how to reward and train them to keep acting right. That's all I want to say, brother.
Anthony.
Yeah, to back that up, you're going to have to learn. Like you can watch these shows, you can listen, you can apply the knowledge. And I think both of you guys have dropped a lot of bombs in the show. I hope you guys have learned something from me as well. But you also need the experience. You're going to have to learn. You're going to learn what the boundaries are over time. You're going to learn how to express yourself and exert yourself and assert yourself with women, you know, in general. And then especially in the heat of the moment when some shit test happens or she acts up, or even there's a moment where you need to reward her, and it's got to come from a good place and it's still got to be savage. She wants to feel that masculinity for better and for worse. So you got to learn, you got to go through the thick of it. And that's the reason that, you know, the three of us on this panel are able to talk about it. 10 years ago, I couldn't have done that. You know, I was able to go to a bar and pick up a chick, but I would not have understood these different dynamics with punishment, rewards, power plays, and things like that. It takes time, and you need to be patient. Whether it's learning how to pick up girls at a bar, or manage a relationship, or manage a fuck buddy, or something like that. Each one of these things is a skill set you have to learn in life, and a lot of it will happen too, not just from learning ideas like this and then applying them and testing them, but just organically. You go through shit with women, and you survive, and you get stronger, and you get better. You succeed and you remember what made you successful in that moment when the shit was like kind of popping off. And then you'll fail sometimes too. You just miserably fuck something up like a total beta cuck or whatever the fuck. So you go through shit, you figure it out, and you get stronger and you get better and you get more masculine over time. And that's like very natural and very normal. And rant.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this, the 87th edition of the Red Man Group. Again, you guys know where to find us all. All of the links are in the description. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Our thanks to the super chatters and supporters. We will see you guys next week.